Hey everybody, just checking in. Wanted to go ahead and go live with it tonight on episode 3 of Fancy's Let's Talk About It. Hope you can join me. So tonight we're going to talk about dating younger. And that could mean a man dating a younger woman or a woman dating a younger man. I just want to get your feedback on a few things. Let's kind of see what people think, what your opinion is. It's kind of taboo. People think that, like dating younger or whatever, there's issues. Some people just have issues with it because they were raised a certain way and they believe certain things. Other people really just don't even really have an opinion about it. And then some people are highly opinionated about the subject. So, sort of kind of want to know where you fit in. What do you think? You're going to give me some feedback about it. If you give me your feedback first, and then I'll give you my opinion, and then we can just kind of talk about it like we normally do. I see you guys. Come on in and talk to me. Let's talk about it. Dating younger. Say hello. Okay, well, so in regards to dating younger, are you of the opinion that as long as a person is of age that you can date them? Or what is the limit that you think should be something that would be considered acceptable? What's your opinion? Dating younger and you're older is a full... Really? Jerome, why? I mean, honestly, older could be you're 45 and I'm 40. But I mean, the truth is dating younger. So not necessarily 20 years younger. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about. That's kind of the opinion that I'm trying to get. The general consensus in the opinion. 10 up and 10 down? Yeah. Okay, so you think that it's foolish? Why would it be foolish? What if that person has an old soul? What if they were raised, by grandparents or something, and they're just very, very secure in who they are, and, they're, okay with that? I mean, what do you think? Hey, girl. Miss Song, how are you? Haven't talked to you in a while. So your limit would be 5 up or 5 down. So I got a 10 up or a 10 down. It's not good. It's considered foolish, by opinion. And then I have a limit of 5. So that'd be 5 up or 5 down. And, oh, TT. Think dating younger is okay, but what matters is the maturity of the person. 52, and I would date someone 42 and older. So that's 10 down. Okay. All right. So we have the opinion. We have mixed opinion. So one is saying, 10 years up or 10 years down is, foolish. And there's reasons why. Maybe experiences that have shown you that. And then I have one that's saying 52 would date someone 42 and older. So that's 10 years. Okay. How about a person? How about a person older than you? TT, how about that? I'll tell you part of the problem that I have had. Like when I was younger, I did date older. And I don't mean necessarily like 20 years older, obviously. But, older. Meaning, like, I don't know, 10 years? Not even 10. 5 or 6 years, I guess. About 5 or 6. I think my limit was probably someone maybe 5 to 6 years older than me. That was about what it was for me. And, those distinct differences didn't really come in for me until we got into a more controlled setting as far as like, visiting and stuff like at the home or whatever, or spending nights over at the home or whatever. That's when you could see the apparent differences between us. Everything else was kind of normal for us, like... We like the same type of music, and we like to do the same type of hobbies, things like that. All of those things were, pretty good as far as that. But as far as the way that his home was organized, the way that he believed, he was just totally different. And we can all be different. There's no doubt. I mean, all of us can be completely and totally different in what we believe and how we organize our home and our lives and everything. But he was kind of like old. Like he acted really old when it came to home. So it made me uncomfortable because, you know, yeah, he's only like 6 years older than me, but it made me uncomfortable because, you know, I felt like everything that I was doing was stepping on his toes because he had this schedule or this regimen, and it was so strict. You know, this bedtime is this time, this and that. You know, if you're, God forbid, you have more than one job like me, and you're coming over, you know, just to get a little bit of time in and spend a little bit of time with them or whatever. You know, it just didn't really work out because, you know, just that regimen was so strict. So Jerome, you're saying no, 10 up and 10 down is my limit. I'm not saying it's foolish, just dating younger nowadays is a fool. I have to agree with you. Well, I think that, and I can't speak for everybody, but I am of the opinion that something happened in that generation after I say, and I always say this, and I don't mean to offend anybody at all, but it's just my opinion. It's something that I have seen, and it's kind of rare in there that I've seen different. You know what I mean? Kind of what I've seen is, like, my sister is born in, my baby sister is born in 78. And so that was sort of, to me, almost the last generation of what we know as far as, like, the pattern of a relationship as far as what we know. I want to say, like, love in the 90s, like the 90s, the early 90s, you know what I mean, more than anything. Sort of like the number of, the way that love was in the 90s, like, we kind of were at the edge of, you know, still knowing, you know, like what we had seen with our parents or what we had seen with our grandparents, whomever raised us, and everything that we kind of were in the frame of mind, unless we had kind of already gone through things, that we were going to, you know, be with somebody, we were going to be committed to them, we were going to be in a relationship, we were going to get married, have kids, you know, just setting up for your future. That's kind of where I believe that those, you know, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, you know, in the early 90s were at, is what I think. That's just my opinion. And so I think that something happened after, like I say, 1978 is my baby sister. So I'm thinking that something happened, you know, like after about 80, 81, something really happened, and the tide has shifted, I think, a lot, in my opinion, on a lot of things. Because nowadays, I mean, you know, I have, you know, 25-year-olds hitting on me like it's nothing all the time, just because they think that I'm younger than I am, you know, and I have to kind of remind them, look, you know, however I look or whatever, that's not my age, you know, and I really, you know, I can't entertain that, you know what I mean, because really, you know, I have a child your age, basically, you know, I raised 2 kids, and my son, if he were living, you know, he would be 25, you know, next month. So there'd be no way that I would ever be able to do that. I would feel like I was dating my child, you know what I mean, or his friends or something. It's just odd. But I have, you know, actually dated someone younger than me, 10 years my junior. It's happened. And so by that happening, and again, this is what I say for me, he had an old soul. You know, he had been through some things in his life, and, you know, practically raised himself. So he was an old soul. He was ready for that commitment and ready for love in that fashion. You know, it kind of happens. So I got a couple of more comments, so let me look and see what those are real quick. So we got Jerome, 10 up and 10 down is the limit, just foolish dating younger. And then here you checking in, Charles, with LOL, the story of my life. Yeah, I know, right? It happened. And then TT says, it depends on the person. I've met guys my age and a little older, but they were into games. And yeah, that happens on both sides. I've seen games on both sides. Somebody saying they agree with Charles. And then so TT is still saying, I'm not into the Ben Gay clique yet, but if he's vital like myself, I would date. Absolutely. Because, you know, you have to have something about you that's attractive. I mean, you can't really just be like posted up, you know, just like, and you're saying, like I said, it didn't work for me because only 6 years older than me, but that regimen was so very strict that this really didn't work out for me. Because, I mean, listen, if you know me, you know that I'm on it all the time. I'm moving all the time. Go, go, go. You know, it's not, that's the plan for me. That's my life right now until it changes. Until I'm able to secure where I need to be on a single income. And until I'm able to secure, you know, the future that I'm striving for, as far as, you know, the remainder of my education and whatnot. Until that time comes, I'm going to continue to grind until I get where I need to go. I'm not going to put my hand out and ask anybody for anything. So that's just me. So I can't commit to someone that's going to make me feel uncomfortable about the way that I move. It's like you're going to get in where you fit in, and that's not being nasty. It means that I'm going to give you all of the time that I've got, that's free. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm not, out bopping and club hopping and, wasting up your money, asking you for things, demanding for you to do certain things for me. I don't ask for anything. And anybody who's dated me can attest to that same thing. Anybody who really knows me knows that I've always given more than I've taken. I've never ever been the one to put my hand out and say, gimme, 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 or I've judged you because of what you've had. And that'll be another topic that we can go over another week. I want to talk about that, those different, earning levels and people dating mismatched per se. So, and then I have another one. Oh, Steven. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Dated a 42-year-old with 4 kids when I was 29. We worked out, but with the other kids, dads always dated a problem. Absolutely. It's like, it's baby daddy, baby mama, baby daddy. It's going to always be some type of drama unless they have a really good relationship. And I've noticed, that mostly when that person, the significant other, their ex or whatever, the kid's father, the kid's mother has actually moved on and they're now in a viable relationship or a marriage or a committed relationship, things tend to go smoother because they really have someone that they need to answer to too. And I don't mean answer to like, get permission. What I mean is, they have a specific code of conduct in that relationship that they kind of are expected to abide by. It's kind of unwritten and unspoken, I believe. That's just my opinion. So I'm not going to be worried about what you're doing in your relationship if I'm happy in my own relationship. It's about our kids. So I totally get that, Stephen. I have had that same experience. Luckily, me, the type of person that I am, like, I bar nobody. Listen, I don't care. You can say whatever. You can threaten whatever. Whatever. When it comes to the point of us here, it's not about me and you. It's about your kids. That's what it's about. It's not about nothing else. It's about the kids. And only grown and responsible people can really understand that. If a person is tripping like that, 9 times out of 10, they are not over the relationship, period. It's not been enough time. You haven't developed that friendship. You can be divorced, you can have kids, and you can be friends eventually. Even people who cannot stand the sight or thought of or the sound of a person's voice can eventually still make it as friends later, especially if there are children involved. You can be with each other and around each other on holidays. I promise you, you sing it to the choir right here. It's me. I've done it. Me and my ex-husband get along just fine. We get along better than we ever did. We get along like we did when we were friends, when we were 18 years old. And our family welcomes his wife. And his family still welcomes me. And we all go to places together. It's not weird. So, I totally get that one, Stephen. And then I got an exactly, and I'm thinking that Charles is going to be on the dating in the 90s versus dating now. That, it's just totally different now. 43 and it's hard to find someone not too old but not too young. So, they totally get that too. Yeah, absolutely. I think that most people are really in agreement with that. And Tony's agreeing with Charles. Yep. And Miss Song is like, I personally don't have any friends that dating the same age. All are dating younger. Of course, if I had to date again, I would probably stick to 5 years. I haven't seen anyone older than that I would be attracted to. And so really, it really is all about your preference. And to me, it's more than anything, it's about your mind, and it's about your conversation skills, and it's about the level of honesty for me. That is actually one of the reasons why I dated someone younger. It wasn't like I went out looking for him. I wasn't looking for him at all, as a matter of fact. He just came into my life, and it was a time that it was time for me to meet someone. And, it's not my choice at that time. That's already planned out for us. No matter what that experience was there for to teach me, it taught me, and it put me in a position to learn something. And I learned something from the experience. And he was 10 years younger than me. And to me, to be honest, because he had such an old soul and he was so committed to the relationship and just on point all the time, I really didn't see any bumps in the road at all. Where the bumps in the road came in for us was when it came to monetary things, when it came to responsibilities. Me, I am of the opinion that the way that I was raised, but that's because I came from primarily a single parent home. But for the first portion of my life, for the first 10, 11 years, as far as being in my parents' home or my mom's home, I came from, a father who was a provider. You know what I mean? I also came from a point where my parents had to make it so they had to put every penny together, and it wasn't about your money, my money, it was about our money. That's what it was. If one had, we all had. And that's the type of person that I am. That's where I came from. And so I have that understanding. So I don't mind sharing. I'm not asking anybody to come out and just like, hey, you're going to pay everything. But let me say this. I also am of the opinion, because my mom was remarried, I had a stepfather, and he was the responsible one in the house. He paid all of the bills. That's what he did. And my mom's money was from my mom. And it was for if she wanted to work. And her money was for us, the kids, and whatever we needed. He wanted her happy. That was the way that he was raised, was to be a provider. That is one of the attraction to older men that I have gotten, opinion-wise from women my age and even younger than me. I know women that are younger than me that are dating men who are 15, 20 years older than them. And even marrying them and having successful marriages, children, the whole nine. If you ask a man about dating younger, a lot of men will say, I'll date, younger or whatever. Yeah, because, who wants an old broad? You know what I mean? And I know it sounds funny, but these are the type of things that I hear. So, who wants to date an old broad? Or eventually, why would you take a shiny new, car over a classic? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Or eventually, your sex drive is going to be gone. Or eventually, it's not going to work the way that it used to work. Just to me, those are kind of the things that, they matter to a degree, but when you're really in love with someone, and you really love someone, and you're in a viable relationship, marriage, or whatever, a committed relationship, because that's another whole topic, that whole marriage and dating whole thing, and commitment and the level of closeness, that is very debatable. It's highly debatable. Some people are terrified of marriage. And some people are not. Some people want that ultimately. That's their goal. Some people wanted it from jump. Some people thought that's what they were supposed to do from jump. So that's a topic that I will definitely explore with you guys later. So I'm going to take a little bit more on the comments here. I know I'm not getting younger, so companionship matters now. Absolutely. A lot of people agree. You'll take that companionship from someone who has something to offer you in regards to a personality. It's actually an intellectual conversation, some type of stimulation. For me, it's all about this. Because when we're older, I'm older, even not. You could get into a car accident. You could be disabled. All of these same things that everybody already is aware of and has an opinion of. Any of these things could happen, and that sex could go away. The ability to work and provide could go away. The ability to work and over-provide could go away. So really, it's all about that level of commitment that you have with that person. So, to me, you have to have a good mouthpiece. You have to have some intelligence about me intellectually, because you're not going to keep me if I can't hold a conversation with you about all things. Music, art, the current events that are happening, things that affect us, the presidents, the election, war, whatever is going on, terrorism, whatever is going on all around our country, things that are going on right here in our city. If you're not able to talk to me about those things in that manner, then we're going to have an issue. I'm not going to be able to date you. And that means if you could be 10 years younger than me, you could be 10 years older than me. And again, if you're strict and you ready to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and I just got off of my second, third job, at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, it's no point for me to even come over with all your rules. I can't see how that's viable for us. Excuse me. So Adrian, hey Adrian, nice to see you this week. So if I was single, I would look for a woman around 65 or 70 years old. I just want to chill all day, every day. Well, don't you do that now? Baller. I'm playing. Anyway, we know about you, Adrian. Quit tripping. But anyway, there are a lot of men who date older women, and they legit want to date older women. They don't want to date women on their own age, in their own age range, because they say it's about games and money, and everybody's trying to take you to the cleaners. Get what you got. Oh, hey there, Miss Vanessa. Most beautiful lady in City Hall. And I love you. That happened to you and my ex-husband passed. That happened to me and my ex-husband passed before he passed. Absolutely. TT, I know. You know, I was right around. I've been there. You know, me and you went through practically the same thing. And I always tell these younger women, that it's very beneficial to you to have an older woman as your friend. Not older like she's 70 and you're 20. No, I mean someone that's like, 10 years older than you. 7, 8, 10 years older than you, because she's lived and she's gone through things. And men too. It's good for you to go to your papa or your grandpa, you know what I'm saying? Or it's important for you to have those conversations as a man. You have to have somebody to talk to except for your own peers. It's good for you to talk to them, but if all of you are the same, you're friends, and all of you are the same opinion, how is that going to help you? You need to have someone who has some kind of contrasting opinion. Not necessarily they don't agree with you, but they're looking at something through a different set of eyes than you and your friends would look at. And so Miss Song says, I heard women's sex drive is at its peak over 40. Is that right? So, does everybody agree? Can I get a vote, like, from the women? Do you feel like your sex drive is over its peak, over 40? The funny thing for me is that I had this conversation not too long ago, actually about a week and a half ago. I had this conversation, you know what I mean? And when I had this conversation, for me, it wasn't about a drive. For me, it was about being, emotionally connected, that emotional connection. That intellectual connection, because this is for me. I don't know about other women, but I know that if you and I are not getting along and I don't feel like we're in the same place, if we have issues, really it's pointless for us, because I know that men and women can both turn that button on and off. You can turn it on and off. So if we're not connecting properly, even if we're together and we're committed to be together, we're not going to break up. You're not going to go nowhere. I'm not going to go nowhere. We're not like trying to get out here and get with that one. What I'm saying is, it could just be a turn off for me. I don't even want to have sex if that's the case. Because to me, it's like we're not there. It's about that emotional connection and that attachment. And if we don't have it, then really it's pointless for us to even go through the act of that. Besides the physical part. Because if I feel like we're not connecting on that level, I'm feeling like I'm not being respected. I'm not being appreciated. That's a woman for you. And men feel the same way too. A lot of men won't admit that. But if their woman is not there for them or holding them down and not really doing the things that she's used to do and not listening to them, and she's just gotten so wrapped up in everything else, then they might not even be having the desire to be with them in that way. So really, Miss Song, I can't really say, whether, for myself. I'm just waiting for some answers on that, because for me, it's not about that. I don't know if that's more geared to, people who are dating several people, maybe. I don't know. Like you're really out here to date, not hole hopping. I'm talking about like dating, like going out dating. If you're sexually attracted or if your sex drive is higher after 40. I've heard it to be true. Studies show it to be true. But for me, I've kind of always been in some type of committed relationship, and so for me, it's like that's not really the first thing on my mind. Like the physical part, if it's there, it's there. Our connection's always going to be there if it's there. So then, Adrian, relationships are simple. Treat me like you want to be treated, period. My love for you is based on your love for me. You don't ever have to say, I love you, if I can see it or feel it in your actions. And absolutely, it's the conversation that I have all the time. I don't need you to just constantly flood me with, I love you, I love you, I love you, you're so beautiful, you're so gorgeous. I know these things are true because you show me through your actions and through your works. And every so often you'll catch me off guard and say, wow, you look gorgeous today, or how are you doing, beautiful, or something like that. Or you'll just hit me with an I love you at the end of the conversation that I totally was not expecting. So it shows that's very true. I can totally agree with that. And so TT says a woman is in her prime sexually in the 40s and up, then peaks down again at late 60s. So there it is. I have read plenty of women's health studies to substantiate that. So really. Hey, KB. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. So come on and chime in for me. And so dating younger is the topic. So what are the issues? Everybody tell me, what are your other issues you think that happen with dating younger? Besides what I was talking about, the money and the responsibility, the financial responsibility is an issue. Because I've seen it go both ways. Now, it's like, and the truth is, I've said this so many times, like the ratio for men to women, it's outrageous right now. There's so many more women than there are men. So a lot of women, really, they don't even realize, that they are really at odds with one another, and they're really fighting with each other, 5 women over 1 man. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look, I'm not fighting over anybody. Not gonna happen. If you're for me, you're for me, and if I'm for you, I'm for you. I'm not gonna be fighting over no man. And in other words, I'm not gonna be trying to buy his affection or love either. There's a cutoff, It's situations right now that are really, really happening with people that they're with you because they need you. They might need some money. They might need to use your car. They might need whatever. They might, they're with you for that reason. They're with you for one reason. They're with Pam for the next reason. And they're with Jennifer for the next reason. And they're with Keisha for the next reason. And they're with Latasha for the next one. I mean, it's just what happens. Because men overall are outnumbered by us now. And it doesn't matter how beautiful we are. A lot of these women are out here selling themselves short. I don't understand where that comes from. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised that we work together to make it happen. We build our empire. We build our home together. Not your money, my money. You know what I'm saying? Or you get this or you get that, or I control the whole purse. It's not like that. It doesn't even matter. Who makes more money? It doesn't matter. It matters that we're bringing it into the household together. And at the end of the day, we both eating. We both have transportation. We both have clothes on our back. We both are professional and we look presentable to go to work. Those are the things that matter. That's my opinion. That's the way that I was raised. So, what are the issues that you see with dating younger? Think about that. What issues can you see when you're dating someone younger? For me, the 10-year gap wasn't even apparent to me because he was very attractive and he did not look like a young man. He looked like an old soul. It was all in the eyes. It was all in the face. It was all in the way that he moved, his actions, everything. It was all in everything that he did. So he was not like that. He was just very comfortable, and knowledgeable and aware of the things that had happened, from my own time. 10 years. I mean, okay, so when you think about it, you say, I was 10 years old when you were born. That's disgusting. Okay, say I was 21 and you were 11. I would never have talked to you when you were 11. That's gross. That's a crime, right? So now, you say you're 40 and he's 30. So what do you see as issues there? Besides people and their opinions. But people are going to have opinion no matter what. That's the thing that I came to grips with. It didn't matter to me. Because people are going to have an opinion about you no matter what. I could be dating somebody the same age as me and people are going to have an opinion about it. I can go outside and you might not like the way that my lipstick looks today. I can go outside and you might not like the color of my eyes. Everybody has an opinion about something. So chime in and tell me. What do you think the issues are, Other issues. You have any more? And Adrian's, I love to talk about all issues. And if you are not well-rounded in your experiences, then that will not work for me. Absolutely. There's no mutual ground to have a conversation on. Because Fetty Wap. You know what I'm saying? Fetty Wap, and Fetty Wap is the shit to you. Nothing wrong with Fetty. But, that 1738. Ain't nothing wrong with any of it. I'm not tripping about any of that. But do you know who MC Shan is? Do you know who Ice-T is? Do you know who Pusha T is? Do you know who anybody is? I mean, if my main thing is music that I love, and I can't even talk to you about Brownstone or the Isleys, I mean, what am I going to be able to talk to you about? And that's older music than me. And I was just exposed to that, you know what I'm saying? Prince and Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? All of those 80s, icons. If I can't really talk to you about them, we don't really have much to talk about. So then what are we doing? Our bodies are talking. That's not what it's all about. That's not about any viable relationship. I'm talking about actually being in a relationship with someone who's younger than you. Dating young. So who else will admit that they really have done that? I think that if you can look at the person and you can see like really, really young looking features on them, like that right there to me would be kind of like a turnoff. So again, like for me, a 25-year-old just is not going to happen ever. 30, we're past all of that now. I dated. I was in a viable relationship with someone who was 10 years my junior. And that seems to be the trend now. You know, with all of my friends that are my age, you know, it seems to be the trend with the younger men. They seem to be attracted to this group. And I don't know if it's because of the experiences they're having with these younger women. You know what I mean? Now, I don't really know. Or women of their own age. I'm seriously, you know, for the last, I want to say 10 years have had, I don't know. It's been crazy for the last, I want to say that. You know, people have been attracted to me that are way entirely too young for me. And, you know, I'm not rude. I'll just be like, thank you, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? And you continue to pursue me. I don't want to be like, well, you know what I mean? I don't want to be rude and nasty about it, but the truth is that, I mean, at some point, everybody has to have that degree that is comfortable or uncomfortable for them. And I guess it's kind of where I'm going. So I've gotten 5 years up or down, 10 years up or down, and that's pretty much where I've gotten. Anybody else have anything else in there? Anybody a 15 or 20 year person, gap difference person that wouldn't mind? I mean, say you're a 40-year-old man. Would you date a 55-year-old woman? And Adrian says, I will have to be with someone who likes to watch a Lifetime movie and ID channel. Well, I mean, some people like TV and some people don't, Adrian. I mean, I don't watch TV. I don't have time. I've never really been much of a TV watcher anyway. There was a great portion of my life that I didn't even own a TV. I was younger. You know what I mean? My mom actually went out and bought one at sky-high prices for me and paid weekly for it just because I asked her for it. But that's one of the funny things about, you know, the relationships that I've had. Sometimes I have conversations. We talk about shows that were on or cartoons and stuff that were on. I know nothing about it because during that time we didn't own a TV because we couldn't afford that. You know what I mean? To each his own. I mean, and so I've never really been much into TV. I'm more into music, and if you know me, you know that. I've been around a studio or around some artist somewhere, working, learning, contributing in some fashion, you know, or just posted up, listening to my own music, listening to music, enjoying, you know, different kinds of music. So, I mean, everybody has their own, like, again, the things that matter to them that they would have to have in a relationship with anybody of any age. I mean, Adrian, I could call my granny over to come, you know, if she were alive. I could call her to come over and watch those things with you while I was at work. You know what I'm saying? If that was the type of situation that a man I was dealing with, you know what I mean? Needed somebody who likes to watch TV and stuff. I don't have that kind of time. I work all the time. So TV, it didn't really happen for me. It's very hard for me to get through Seasons of Power or... I haven't even watched Empire this year. Even though I have put this show off to after Empire, because I respect the fact that Empire, you know, is such a huge hit, I still don't watch it. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I've been watching a few other things here and there, but I mean, I haven't even completed my Married at First Sight season 3. I mean, or 4. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of opportunities to watch TV with all the time that I'm working, all these different jobs that I'm at. I'm mostly really tired. Anybody else? So 10 years up, 10 years down, that's about the limit. That's the highest that I've heard. 5 years up, 5 years down, that's about, you know, the lowest that I've heard. Anybody else have an opinion about it? And you can look at situations and you can look at it very different. You know, you can go, you know, somewhere or whatever and you can meet, you know, a man or a lady. You might even, you know their age. I mean, they might just hold their youth very well. I mean, they might have good skin or good genes, you know what I mean? It happens. And you don't even know until that conversation comes up. And I've been in situations where I've met people, you know, again, that did not look 10 years younger than me or even 5 years younger than me. Actually, they looked older than me. I mean, for me, I'm you know, with my coworkers and the ladies that I know, and, you know, they're in their, you know, mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, and they think that I'm just like them. They forget. When we start talking, they start talking to me about something that I'm very familiar with, that they just know because they touched it. They, for whatever, music or song or something, I know every single word of it. Well, yeah, I was alive. You know what I mean? That was a vital part of my, my teenage years or my early adulthood. Of course I know about that movie or that song. And this is, something you've discovered because you're younger than me, but you forget. But it's not a knock at all. It's not a knock on them. It's not a knock on me. It's totally what it is. Oh, so Miss Song says, yep, guys hit on me thinking I'm in my 30s. Absolutely. I get 28 all the time. People think I'm 25, 26, 28 all the time. Matter of fact, after the studio tonight, I went to the store to go get me some spinach. Healthy eating. Anyway, I went to the store to go get that, and I had these guys that were 18 or 19, two of them together, and one was just blushing like more than me with the finest man I ever saw. I don't know, but they just kept on coming back to where I was at. I want to say, what do you want? That's my favorite line. What do you want? Quit coming over here. Go on and ask me something so I can tell you that, my child is older than you. No, I'm not going to go out with you. No, thank you for the compliments, but I'm not interested because you're a baby. Listen, if I'm going to go to your house and me and your mama are the same age, I got a problem with that. No, I'm sorry. I wouldn't be able to date you. If I go to your house and your mom is 5 years older than me, that's also a problem. So that's what I'm saying. It's just kind of weird. I think. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to talk about? And then you got to deal with the issues too. Like when you're an older man dating a younger woman, what if, okay, here's a good one. What if she wants children, but you're, you already made a decision to, have a vasectomy, or, you're not able to really produce. Some may have some kind of injury. What about if you're an older woman and you have a younger man and he wants children and you are not able to do it? Either because you had a hysterectomy or something happened, a life-changing event happened, or because, it's not safe for you to bear a child. So to me, this is how I think. I don't want to date, first of all, if I'm dating a younger man, that does not have any children already, if I'm going to go on a date with him or whatever, or even consider being with him, he doesn't have children already, my first conversation will be, listen, we can be friends, but that's going to be the limit of it. I don't mind talking to you. Listen, we can have a good conversation or whatever. Whatever you want to talk about. You need an ear, a shoulder, a heart, somebody to give you, their attention, their time, a real person, that's fine. But for me, I cannot, if you have any desire to have children, no, I'm not going to take that away from you. And I've had plenty of men say to me, well, we can adopt. I'll adopt a baby for you because you're a great mom. You're this, you're that. This is my thing. You shouldn't have to do that. I mean, it's natural to reproduce, and you should be able to do that. I don't want to ever be in the way of that. I don't ever want anybody to be upset with me later because, I wanted kids, but I loved you, and so therefore I didn't have kids. That's an issue for me too. The dating younger thing, that would be an issue for me too. That would be a concern for me. I mean, because it's like, you have that right. Everyone has that right, to carry on, their lineage. Everybody has that right. I think. If that's what they want. So then you came back in and you're like, Miss Song, you're like, yep, guys hit on me thinking I'm in my 30s, and I have to tell them, sorry, I'm married and old enough to be your mom. Absolutely. It's just awkward, and that's the thing I noticed too, is that now you're starting to see younger people going to older places that were, considered a place for older crowds before. And vice versa, you're seeing people that are older going to places that were considered for younger. You know what I mean? And not necessarily they're going because they're being a creep. It's just that they didn't know, or they were there, or they were invited to a party there, or something like that. A good rule for me is, I know it sounds so strange because now at my age or whatever, my mom and I are 15 years apart, right? So with my birthday parties, I never really had my birthday party in any type of, club or environment like that. But I did have it in a lounge this year. And it was not awkward for me to have my mom there. But if you would have said that to me at 21, I would not want my mom with me. And my mom would be absolutely not. I will never go out and drink and party with my kids. I'm never going to go party with my kids. So if I'm in a situation where I'm with someone that their parent is within the same age range, generally, of me, that I'm going to be feeling like I'm partying with, my kid. I don't know. Anybody else have any feedback? Any other thing? Anything else like about as far as your age range? I still got my high 10 up, 10 down, 5 up, 5 down is my low. Anybody have anything else in there? Anybody dated anybody 10 years older than them? Okay. So Adrian, my wife, is 4 years younger than I. We are both retired, and people always ask, how do you guys do it? We're together 24/7. We respect each other's opinion, and that is how we continue to learn and grow from each other. We've never had a fight in 16 years. To disagree with each other is the perfect opportunity for us to learn. I totally have to agree with you on that, and I've seen you two together, and I know why it works. I see why it works. She absolutely is herself, her beautiful self, all the time, Adrian. And you are yourself all the time. You have not changed from the day that I met you. And she knows who you are. You have proven yourself to her to be loyal and respectful. Therefore, she has nothing to worry about. That's what it should be. I am not going to be the one who's going to be sitting up worried about nobody else. Whatever they're doing, that's them. I know who I am. I know the position I have in your life. I know what my worth is, first and foremost. So, for me, I'm not going to put up with any old thing. It's just not getting ready to happen. I know my value and my worth. So, if you decide to go off and creep off, and you decide to go be with other people, and be disrespectful, and disrespect our union, or our covenant, our bond, whatever it is, whether it's a marriage, or just a committed relationship, our agreement, if you decide to go off and do those things, then you run the risk of losing me, and vice versa. I wouldn't want to be with somebody that I didn't worry about losing. I also wouldn't want to be with somebody that nobody else wanted either. That's a control issue. Those are whole other topics that we can talk about on other days. For me, I respect you, you respect me. And Adrian, I give you big ups to that, because you guys got it. You guys have something that a lot of people want. And it's been going for a very long time. It's strong. It's true. Your loyalty to each other is amazing. It happens. And that's the type of stuff that you hold on to. That's the type of stuff that you cherish, because you don't get that every day. And part of the problem is she's 4 years younger than you. I think that's probably a good margin. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're still within the same century, the same decade is what I'm trying to say. We're still in the same place. Hey, Sarah, with that beautiful baby of yours. I cannot wait till you come to Houston. I can't wait to see him. I hope he's not 3 or 4 before I get to see him in person. So anybody else have an up or down, higher or lower? Or anybody else ever even dated someone that was, more than 20 years older than them? Been hit on by someone 20 years older? Or 20 years or more older than you? For me, I've never dated anybody 20 years older than me. I've been hit on by someone 20 years older than me. Because some people are just creeps, but, anyway. But then, there's a way to do that. It's a way to be respectful. There are men, that just know how to compliment a woman if she's beautiful. I experienced that, with work or whatever, me working at City Hall from my regular, 9 to 5, 9 to 6. I experienced that there. There's a lot of different men, of all age ranges and groups, and of all different positions they have there, that you look beautiful today, or how are you doing, or that have said could take you out or whatever. And mainly my experiences, however, have been in the last, I say again, primarily 5 to 6 years, have been mostly younger men. They can't beat them off with a stick. It's like everyone. How old are you? 20. How old are you? 22. And you? 30. You? 35. Okay, 35. 35. Whoosh. Whoosa. Maybe. But then again, I really can't, judge. And Sarah, I hope you get to come out here soon too. You've been hit on by old men back when I worked at a restaurant as a server. Absolutely. I think being a waitress or a server of any kind, like me, I bartend, waitress, all of that, you're gonna get that naturally because you look beautiful. You take care of your body, you take care of your skin. You're vibrant. It's not necessarily that you look like you're 18 or 20. It looks like the way that you carry yourself. I think that one thing that I've always strived to do and to be a prime example of is to be classy all the time. You don't have to be half naked. I don't want that kind of attention. No, thank you. That's me. I'm dressed to a T. You know what I mean? Head to toe. I can be completely covered up. I can even scarf my head and still get attention. Because, that's the beauty from within. It radiates from within. I'm respected. And so I get that, Sarah. You giving them alcohol and they come after you. Hell, they're coming after you when they walk through the door. You even got to give them alcohol. They see something beautiful, they're coming. There's nothing beats a fail but a try. They can try, right? Oh, Adrian, you're welcome, and I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the compliment, really. I'm glad that you guys are joining me on this. And this one's running a little bit longer than normal, but I'm glad that I have, the audience that I have, and I appreciate you guys for just, chiming in, giving me your opinion. Next week, I want to talk about, the difference in relationships with a higher and a lower earner. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the complications that come with that. I don't want to talk about it right now, so don't comment. But just get ready, you know what I'm saying? Do some thinking, put your cap on and think about it for next week, and I hope you can tune in for me. And this is a whole week in advance. Usually I've been just kind of taking, suggestions for topics. But I think these kind of all go hand in hand when you're dealing with relationships. And I don't mind mostly having topics and talking about relationships. It's not a problem to me. It's because these are things that people want to talk about, and a lot of times they don't have the forum to really do that on the level that they personally know someone, you know what I mean, or someone that they trust, to really not be so over opinionated, or be like, oh no, that's not how it works, or oh, that's your problem. For me, I'm very open, so I'm here and to listen and to feed off of that. And also I'm building my audience. I mean, this is something for my future. These are the things that you're going to see, that are going to be posted on, eventually. I'm going to have some guests or whatever, some features or whatever. But I want to have that when I have some studio time or some time that, I have some actual, filming, some professional filming. My YouTube, I'll upload everything to my YouTube channel. This is going to include all of my material, which is all of the Facebook Live, a lot of my Instagram, funny things that I do on Instagram, whatever it might be, whatever song I might be feeling that day or whatever. And it's also going to include some of the work that I do, with my mentor, as far as my education is going. I'm over at ESPN and Yahoo Sports. And so you'll get to hear a lot of my commercial stuff, my audio work, my voice stuff, which is where I'm at now. That's kind of where I'm at now. I'm learning, I've got some real positive feedback from a new mentor that I met today on some of my commercials. So you'll get to hear all of that, and you'll be able to offer me your feedback, and you'll get to see me grow. And really, as I learn, to tune this instrument of mine and get that feedback and just be better. So I really need this. So Sarah, you want to talk about how to fix young, unhealthy relationships. Honey, that's a whole other topic, and I am so highly opinionated about that, trust me. And the reason that I know that I can talk about that one, Sarah, is because I lived that. I lived through that. I am a survivor. I lived through young and unhealthy relationships, and most of us have. It's trial and error, baby, because there's no manual on a relationship. It just kind of comes as what it is, what it is. It's how you react. It's how you absorb. It's how you treat each other. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of that garbage, as far as unhealthy relationships, comes from your baggage and your past. Not about relationships. Comes from the way that you were socialized. Comes from the way that you were treated by your parents. Comes from if you came from a single parent home. If you were abandoned by your father. If your parents divorced early. If you were abused physically, verbally, mentally. A lot of the baggage comes along with that. And it really takes, I'm going to tell you, it really takes a special person to handle someone, to entertain a relationship with someone who is broken. It really does. It's hard to entertain that, and you cannot fix it. Man nor woman can fix man nor woman. It just cannot happen. They're going to have to want it for themselves. They have to recognize they have issues and that they need to be well. You need to be in a healthy relationship. So we can talk about that one. I will make that one week after next. Next week we will talk about relationships with unequal earners. One higher and one lower. We'll talk about all the issues that are involved with that. All the opinions that come along with that. So for now, I got all of this good feedback. And I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Please say goodnight to me. What if you're both broken and damaged? Yes, you are. A lot of times two are broken, both broken and damaged, because you know what? We attract what we are. That's one of the most true statements I have. That is one of the truer statements that I have ever heard. We attract what we are. We want to be around people who are like us. They don't judge us. They accept us. So if we're broken, we might accept being treated a certain kind of way by someone else who is broken because they understand us. They're not forcing us to change or be better. They accept us where we are. There's no challenge to be different. So that is highly unhealthy, to be in a situation where you're both broken or damaged and no one has a desire to be better. Because one can get better and help the other one get better. That is a true love. That is a true testament of real love. And again, I would be more than happy to address that one. You got me on that one. You got me right here. You're talking to someone who has 100% experience with that. Both of us were broken. Been there, done that. And I'm better because of it. Anybody else? Anything else? Yeah. Well, tell me good night. I have loved having all of you. I appreciate you being here watching. I appreciate you tuning in, helping me build this audience. I appreciate it. I really do. I come on every Wednesday night at 9:30. 9:30, 9:35. Y'all know me. I run late a little bit. But about 9:30, expect to tune in and see me. And next week we're going to be talking. I'm going to be posting. I'm going to go ahead and do my calendar item. I'm going to go ahead and post and do the calendar invite for you guys so that you'll know. And go ahead and send me your topics and your feedback through inbox me, or if you have my cell, text me, or my email, you can email me. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. For now, be ciao. And it's always time for a little bit of fancy. Night, guys.